Welcome one, welcome all, once again to a brand new season of the Almeida Racing League, live on Pit Road Productions and the Almeida Racing Academy channels. What an honor it is to bring you once again another great season of this fantastic league, comprised almost entirely of students of the Almeida Racing Academy, and those who are not are coaches who will be racing directly against the students. A new car for this season and a brand new schedule of tracks. It's going to be so much fun. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box and also producing behind the scenes is Daniel Zippy Salmon. And Zippy, I think you're just as hyped about the car choice for this season as I am. It's one that we are both very familiar with. We have switched to the Formula 1600 for this season, and we've got a bumper field out there at Mosport for the first round.
Yeah, an absolutely stellar field. They've gone and taken the splits from 4 to 3, so as a result, just looking at the driver info for this season, we're going to have potentially 52 splits. Oh my gosh, one day, ladies and gentlemen, one day it will happen. 52 drivers in one split. That's going to be absolute indeed carnage, as we've got Cairo Enz there in the chat. We've got Jake Enz there watching as well. Competitor and indeed father. Yeah, give him away. Absolutely. There in the chat. We're also broadcasting on a new channel as well. We are on the Almeida Racing Academy YouTube channel. By all means, give them a subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, and give them a like. Let's try and get that newer channel boosted and up into the higher levels of YouTube, where it does rightfully deserve to be. But certainly it's good to be back here with the Formula 1600. Not only that, seeing a few familiar names, but seeing a couple of new names here making it into Split 1. Don't get me wrong, the split has got bigger, like 52 cars. This is going to be nuts. But we've got a lot of new people here. Not only that, I'm looking at the driver cams. Best attendance Pit Road Productions have ever had on a driver cam. So looking forward to seeing as many of you as we possibly can. But before we get too excited, let's indeed see where we've been, where we're going to start, and indeed where we're going.
Yes, the schedule. Looks like that's last season's schedule, Zippy.
Oh, bugger.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Please
Growing
hold. Your
pains
call is
for the
very
new
important
season.
to us. I thought I fixed that. Just you hold on.
Just
Reese,
provide a little
entertain the
hold
crowd.
music. Yes. I'll just get my hidden saxophone out as we prepare to put you on hold for a small amount of time. I mean, I'm amazed at the sheer amount of drivers that we have for this opening round of the season. There we go. That's the one. This is the season 8 schedule. Mosport, of course, we're here at the first round at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Oschersleben for round 2, then Lime Rock Park and Lebanon to round out the first portion of the season. Tsukuba, a track we're very familiar with, playing host to round 5. We're heading over to VIR for round 6, then over to Okayama. We're jumping back and forth between North America and Japan here, going to Montreal, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for round 8. Navarra, another free track, and Rutskogen, another free track included with an iRacing subscription in rounds 9 and 10. And Brands Hatch is going to play host to round 11 with a special event to round things off. The format is going to be one that you're all very familiar with from previous seasons. 2 15-minute heat races to start things off. Heat race number 2 with a randomized invert for the top of the field, and a feature race of 20 minutes thereafter. No fast repair, fixed setup, no pit stops expected. They're very short races, and these cars don't usually go for pit stops anyway, so it's going to be out and out sprinting to the end. In the Formula 1600, Zippy, which I mean, this is a car that barely needs an introduction, I think, to a lot of iRacers, but, call it what you want. Formula Ford, Formula 1600, whatever. Basically, it is the first stepping stone that you take into open wheel race cars after spending your time in go-karts to get your racing career started. There is no downforce. There's a bit of tread in the tires. It is all about managing the grip through the corners with no wings to assist you.
It's absolutely fantastic, and indeed I've been up and around these in real life as well. I happen to be good friends with the guy who now organises the Canadian Toyota Formula 1600 Championship, Mr. Mike Broomhead. If you're not familiar with that name, you need to watch Pit Road Productions a little bit more, but certainly it's a phenomenal car, and I think one of the biggest things that makes it so great for the Academy is certainly you can slide the car a little bit. Indeed, looking for the limit of grip, I think it's pretty perfect for you. You really get like a good sense of communication from the car. But before we get too excited, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a quick look here at the merchandise. I am so excited for when this is indeed coming out. Free shipping on orders over $100 as well. You have my attention. Currently on pre-order, you have the Almeida vintage brand tee, the Almeida emblem tee as well. Personally, I'm preferring the vintage a little bit more heritage behind it as well. Taking a look, if you're looking for something to stay cool, keep your head a little bit cooler during the summer, why not get the Almeida Racing Academy snapback hat? Or, well, you know what, you just want to laze around, check out the Quarter Brand Z.
Yeah, that quarter zip is one item of clothing that I would certainly be looking for. We're in the middle of winter down here in Australia. It's cool by Zippy standards, cold by my standards. It's a lovely piece of clothing. All of these items, fantastic, and certainly hope that they can come out to the world pretty soon, because I do like the way they look on that website. Here in qualifying, though, we are bringing ourselves into the last 7 minutes of this 15-minute session. We're riding on board with, I believe, Rich Meesters, who is currently second place in the session, running his VR headset. Now third in the session as the times are continuing to go down. Timothy Eng and Jakob Shipley, one of the drivers that we saw last season, are currently trading places for provisional pole, but Rich Meesters, as you can see, has the slipstream, and the slipstream is incredibly powerful in these cars, as we're all too familiar with, Zippy, from other series we broadcast.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a nice new paint on there, loving the Canadian flag, and indeed the Pit Road Productions logo there on the cowling. Indeed, the Cool Camel Racing machine is currently, he's doing very well. Certainly last season it was a little bit rough there for Rich Meesters. He definitely had a little bit of a incident-filled season, I'd say, near the end. Definitely was not on his usual form, but I'd say right now he's looking pretty potent. P3 overall, P1 in the club class. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right, we're going to be back with the Premier and the club class as well, as he uses that slipstream to his advantage, making it way round towards the end of the circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, I should know the core names a little bit better. I have got to commentate here in real life for the FEL Motorsports Radical Cup Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. You're making some steps into the real world, racing world, so to speak. The Department of Redundancy department, headed up by myself, Mr. Reese Gardner, as Rich Meesters goes to P2 in the session, but immediately pipped by Jonathan Hobson, new driver to Split 1 for this season. And I believe he is the driver behind Rich at the moment, running a bit of a Technicolor livery. Looks kind of like a 90s PowerPoint background in places, but certainly bringing him a lot of speed there. Number 86 on pole with a 1 minute 26.7. That is a solid margin over the rest of the field.
Absolutely phenomenal time, but let's try and go through a couple more of these drivers here as we take a look at Bas Vanderlei. That is a name you're going to be familiar with, and indeed, is he back here on the cameras? Ladies and gentlemen, he is our favorite Dutchman this season, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see Leon Benvelsen, sorry Bas, but certainly we had a little bit of teasing for that last season. He's looking cool, calm and collected. He has made a return, absolutely fantastic stuff. And then, ladies and gentlemen, put your sunglasses on for the guy who is right behind him. Indeed, he's back in his usual form, shirtless, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kevin Adrian making an appearance here today at Mosport.
Yes, and you can you won't be able to see his shirtless torso in all its glory, but you can see his hands working away at that wheel to try and muscle this car to the apex of turns 8, 9, and 10. It's a very simple looking circuit, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but it's all about high speed, and there's a lot of technical precision required in cars that don't produce any downforce much like these things. On board you can see how much he's soaring away at the wheel over the bumps to try and get that front end turned in to these corners. Kevin Adrian, he's really maximizing every inch of this racetrack, isn't he? Had some great form in the last couple of seasons, was able to get some brilliant results in the Spec Racer Ford a couple of seasons ago, and was certainly an element in the MX-5 Cup as well. But moving on to the Formula 1600, very interested to see what Kevin's form is like in these things.
Yeah, certainly. If it starts to rain, he would be a man I would definitely put my money on. But indeed, as we take a look down through the list as well, disappointing to see we don't see Rupesh Manani here on the driver counts. But certainly, he is one half of an absolutely phenomenal battle we've seen between himself and Kyra Owens, who is currently hanging out there in the chat as well. A few more drivers to keep an eye on. Tyler Harker, we recognize him. As indeed, I've just seen Ian Joyner making an appearance here. He's one of the previous champions. In fact, I think if I remember rightly, he's won it more than once, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a potent driver in his own right as well. He's currently in P9 overall. Who else have we got, ladies and gentlemen? Kyle Diaz-Castro, the Panda himself. Club class champion last season, narrowly missing out on the Premier class. And indeed, he is back with a vengeance, rocking a absolutely beautiful livery there, designed by the one and only Mr. Morgan Smith.
Indeed, fantastic livery work from Morgan. Kyle Diaz-Castro, if none of you are aware, is the Chief Operating Officer of the Almeida Racing Academy, and he is also one of the drivers who races in VR. He's got quite a sparse setup there with no monitors, but obviously running quite the rim as he's chasing the slipstream through turn 2 there. Looking forward to seeing what kind of form he can put on this season. He showed himself to be a strong competitor in the MX-5, but the S1600 is a slightly different beast. One of the things I love about the fact that this league changes cars every couple of seasons is you really get to see who are the best all-round performers. There are some drivers out there, plenty of them, no shame in it, I'm one of them, who are particularly strong in one type of car over others, but you see drivers like Kevin Lau here. He was certainly there or thereabouts in the Spec Racer Ford and the MX-5. It seems the F1600 suits him even better. He's currently on the provisional front row.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff here from Kevin Lau, and I do love especially that this qualifying session is completely open there. As you see one of the drivers just ahead of him, I believe that is indeed Jonathan Hobson, ladies and gentlemen. I felt sure, yeah, he is indeed. He's one of the new drivers to make it here on camera. Ladies and gentlemen, see the man behind the magic. Indeed, I'm jealous of the facial hair, I've got to be honest. That's pretty nice. As Kevin Lau's gone purple there in Sector 3 and able to say hold on, because Rupesh Nani has gone and taken it into the 126.6s with a new P1 time.
Excellent stuff from Rupesh. I believe he's the driver in the red car just behind Jonathan Hobson there. Quite envious of Jonathan Hobson's seat as well. Nice blue colour. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Rupesh is not running a red car this season. Interesting. Well, that's something that we're going to have to get used to, as will pretty much... I love this.
Epic pain. Well played. Jen's car, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, indeed. Brilliant stuff. There's plenty of returning names from that we haven't seen for a couple of seasons, actually. Jeffrey Westland, looking a bit further down the field, Mark Schmurder as well, Kemal Kasim, drivers that have made appearances on the Pit Road Productions broadcast in previous seasons but weren't there last season. So we're putting a bunch of these drivers together, seeing how they race against each other, and also seeing how they match up against the likes of Kane Halliburton, who is the resident coach in the server today. Connor Bell, of course, is currently racing at Riverside International Speedway this weekend, so he's not been able to make an appearance this weekend, but it'll be good to see Kane starting from the back and working his way up.
Yeah, I do indeed hope to see that we see Kane Halliburton take to the track. But actually, Connor Bell currently about 2.5 hours from myself as well. He's going to be in a big oval race this evening, so certainly we do wish him the best of luck. But ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this season, Almeida Racing League Season 8. We're about to get ready to go underway here, sponsored by Podium
Indeed. Absolutely. And Rupesh Paneni is on the front row. We've got a lot of cars to work through here. Jonathan Hobson starting with him on the front row. It's Kevin Lau and Timothy Ng on the second row. Tyler Harker takes the club class pole alongside Bas van der Leij. Rich Meesters and Zoltan Zilmator on row number 4. And then it's Jakob Shepley and Carl Diaz-Castro rounding out the top 10.
Let's have a look at P11. It's going to be our very own Mr. Kevin Adrian with Ian Joyner having a sell for P12. Todd Bonesteel, new one to the league. He takes 13th with Jeffrey Westland, a shifter kart driver, in 14th. Charles Krasick, welcome back. He's there in 15th with Sarunas. I can't read that. Bruzga, my apologies. Zarunas Bruzga, my apologies there. He's there in P16 with Nathan Safari, making it into top split and Premier Class at that in 17th. Eli Arianio makes 18th with Anthony Ori in 19th, and indeed a fellow Englishman, Jens Carr, takes 20th.
Matthew Johnson in 21st, got Michael Cords alongside him. Philip Falcon and Jeremy Childers sharing the 12th row. Very familiar with each other, those guys. Manuel Hoffer and Brian Lenz on row number 13, with Andrei Svoboda in 27th, starting alongside Dominikas Konsavicius, one of the 2 Lithuanians in the server today. Tomas Niemanen in 29th, and Joe Haas rounding out your top 30.
As we have a look here in P31, Elias Fagic is going to make a return with Michael Tan in 32nd. Steve Saunders, a fellow Englishman, he's going to be there in 33rd, with Marcus Vofal in 34th. Alfredo Cruciani takes 35th with Mark Schmurder in... are we doing a standing start here, Reese?
Yeah, it looks like we are, and we are actually moving away. We couldn't get through the whole field, but we will make sure to speed that up in future rounds, as they are already into the first corner. And Rupesh Pineni leading the way, with Kevin Lau keeping second place away from Jonathan Hobson. And now Timothy Young trying to get around Hobson on the outside. We've got a car off, and it's Rich Meesters who's managed to find his way into the grass out of turn 2, rejoins safely, and does not get into the wall. Very easy to slide into that runoff area. Got one black flag for a jump start, I believe, for Charles Krasic down in 21st as well. Bit of a chaotic start here, as everyone's just trying to find their place on the track.
Yeah, it looks like Alfredo Cruciani picked up a black flag for a jump start as well. Definitely unfortunate here for the Italian driver, but fair play. Rupesh Pineni, as you see a little bit sideways action there from Pineni. He manages to hold on. Kevin Lau finds himself at the front of the pack, making their way down the Andretti straight away.
Goodness me, what a start, what a first lap. Everyone's still incredibly close together here, as we have unfortunately seen both Kane Halliburton and Illes Veik have problems off the initial start. Neither of them out on the circuit at the moment, but the battle really is at the front, because here comes Timothy Young trying to find his way past Kevin Lau, but he has got a triple threat behind from Hobson, Harker and Pineni, and joining the party, Bas van der Lee, Jakob Shepley and maybe even Zoltan Zomator. This is crazy.
This is nothing short of crazy. Indeed, fair play to Jonathan Hobson there. What an absolutely beautiful livery there. Let's take a look, see if he's indeed sweating as much as we are. Ladies and gentlemen, looking cool, calm and collected. Takes a look here at the side pod. He can see just ahead of him Bas van der Lee. He's off in the dirt. He's frustrated, but he's managed to keep it going as he makes his way round towards turn 2.
And Hobson trying his best to make some room on the inside there versus Jakob Shepley, but Jakob will hold strong and keep the line into turn 3. Super flowing corner where you can get on the power way earlier than you think. The corner just opens up for the crest and the downhill run into Moss. Side by side, just behind. This is Carl Diaz Castro and Zoltan Zomator fighting over P8 at the moment, and almost banging wheels through the double apex hairpin. They just managed to avoid getting into each other, and Diaz Castro compromised on the exit. It's going to open him up to Ian Joyner and Kevin Adrian.
Indeed, that actually looked like Diaz Castro had a very, very slightest of nudges there on corner exit from Moss Corner, and the very slightest of nudges. But right now, we've got a new race leader. Ladies and gentlemen, Timothy Ing has decided to go and take himself to the front of the pack. But YM knows it. Oh, that's massive contact! Pineni!
Whoa!
Oh, my word!
God! Oh! Okay, he was a passenger the moment that car left the ground. Rupesh Pineni with a fantastic performance in qualifying. It will come to nothing in race number 1. Contact with Tyler Harker coming into turn 8, and it just looks to me like Harker probably wasn't aware that Pineni was right there. They interlocked wheels and just over and up he went.
Wow, and I've got to say, that is the most mullered F1600 I've actually ever seen. Fair play to him, points for effort on that one.
Yeah, he's only got one wheel on the bloody thing, jeez. Well, unfortunately, this is only sim racing, and so he'll be able to refresh that car and get back out there for the next couple of races. Would have been a very expensive repair bill if it was in real life. Kevin Lau, meanwhile, finds himself in the lead, but with Timothy Young right behind him. This is going to be quite the fight up the front of the field. It is a breakaway for the top 6, and they're all keeping each other very close company at the moment. Hard to tell which of these drivers is actually going to stand on the top step of the podium, because, I mean, we broadcast plenty of F1600 races before, Zippy. We know that it's really just a matter of luck, the slipstream, getting your elbows out, all of them play a part in trying to get these positions. But for the lead, it's contact between Timothy Ng and Kevin Lau, and Lau loses the lead to Ng, and that's going to bring Vanderlei, Hobson, Shipley, and Zomator right back into it.
Oh, Bass is going to see this as a golden opportunity. Certainly, these guys are racing like it is their very last breath, looking for air, looking for opportunity. And indeed, something that comes to mind at this particular point, Almeida Academy actually has a new penalty system brought into play. Not only will you be, I say credited points, that almost sounds like you're being rewarded, but there will be post-race time penalties for any particular incidents as well. So certainly, you want to race hard, but you definitely want to keep a wrap here, keep it clean up to avoid the wrath of the stewards, because you can find that P1 all of a sudden could turn into like a P15, P20. Certainly with the field being this close, like a 5-second penalty could be absolutely massive. Like right now, that would put you back down into P number 11, I believe.
Yeah, right around where Todd Bonesteel is in car number 33. Well, this fight for the lead will continue on with the exit from Moss being incredibly important. There's not much power in these F1600s, but with how thin those tires are and how little downforce they produce, in fact, they produce no downforce at all, it's really difficult to get these cars out of slow corners. But the slipstream gets picked up again, and Kevin Lau shooting up to the back of Timothy Ng. Then Jeffrey Westland back in P8 now, having just made his way past Kevin Adrian. They got Diaz Castro and Bonesteel right behind them. This battle for just inside the top 10. And Kevin Adrian flings it into turn 8, sticks tight to the inside, and manages to defend the position.
Yeah, fair play to Kevin Adrian indeed, but we are going to keep cycling indeed, making our way here through the grid as we've got a couple of people who are hard chargers right now. As Mark Smurder currently up 16 spots. There's been an incident right behind him. Who's gone off there now?
I think that might be Jen's car, potentially. Not entirely certain. I did see car losing positions on the timing sheet. And okay, that's the reason why. Big contact in turn 8. I'm not sure who that was with, but Jen's managing to work his way back onto the circuit somewhat safely, but no way of telling how much damage that car has right now.
Yeah, I think Nathan Safarin might have got wrapped up in that as well. Currently, we started with 40 cars. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 7 of them currently down pit road. 5 of them with a little bit of the Italian flaggers. That is a beautiful slide there from Mark Schmurder. And fair to say, he did indeed find a limited grip and has found himself with a meatball flag for his efforts. That's going to be a tow back to pit lane.
Yeah, one of many drivers who finds themselves... there
it is. I was going to say, no meatball, and then he got it.
Yeah, that car's not going anywhere fast. There's so many drivers in the pits now looking for repairs, but the battle's up at the front, still ongoing. Zoltan Zomator trying to keep Jakub Shipley behind him. Shipley back to 6th, and look at the speed that Zomator's carrying through turn 8. A bit too much speed, in fact. Nearly cleaned up Jonathan Hobson, with now the lead still under the control of Kevin Lau and Timothy Ng, but Bas Vanderlei is right there with them and looking to take advantage side by side for the lead again into turn 1. Lau was first to the apex, and through this initial part of the circuit, it's really difficult to put moves on. You put your car in the right spot, you'll very easily be able to keep the position, and Kevin Lau does just that.
Yeah, Timothy Ng definitely applying all sorts of pressure. Bas Vanderlei, he is a seasoned veteran here in the Almeida Racing League, and he's currently hanging out there in P3, and I've got to say, looking very good doing it as well. But I do have a feeling that a couple of the German drivers may have indeed teamed up on the paint here. I am seeing a consistent livery, and I've got to say, it looks fantastic. I'm loving the, loving the colour. Oh my, that's white there.
Timothy Ng! My God, he went into the grass on the run down to Moss. How he didn't understeer into the barriers, I will never know.
Well, fair play to him. He has indeed managed to survive and look just a little bit further behind him. Ladies and gentlemen, one of your previous champions, Mr. Ian Joyner, looking to join the party as well. But he's not just bringing himself there. He's bringing Kevin Adrian and potentially Carl Diaz Castro as well, who's just on the edge of the tow range. Further back, though, looks like Todd Bonesteel. He's got company in the form of Anthony Orini and indeed Matthew Johnson as well.
Yeah, we were saying before we went live, Todd Bonesteel is a fantastic name to have, and he's going to have it up in lights for a few moments here. Matthew Johnson then trying to battle with Anthony Ori here for 11th spot. The top 8 will be inverted for the start of race 2. So right now, provisional race 2 pole is in the hands of Kevin Adrian, but if these guys can catch up, then we're going to be seeing a lot more battling for that. Looking further back, this is outside the top 20. KF Lai has been trying to make his way forward, battling with Norman Rinner in car 125. Quite a few drivers who are new to this broadcast, but putting on some fantastic action like always.
Oh, indeed, a little bit of a connection issue there for KF, as well as Norman Ryan looking to try and hold on here. It's a Canadian man, Canadian trying, indeed. KF makes his way by. Despite that, with Jen's car now looking to try and apply a little bit of pressure there. The Englishman, without doubt, the most tongue-in-cheek paint I've seen yet, as that is definitely going to get interesting there. A little bit of a connection issue there for KF Lion. Indeed, looks like Norman Ryan backing out of it. He just did not want to go near that connection of the car. Meanwhile, Ian Joyner is holding the fastest lap of 126.84. That was his last lap, ladies and gentlemen. Quite the variation. Last lap for the lead pack into the 129s. You can see now why Joyner has managed to catch up as Kevin Lau and indeed Jonathan Hobson fighting out for P1. The wiggle there from Hobson.
Oh, big wiggle, and that's one of our lapped cars, I think, going off there just behind. I'm not entirely sure who that was, but we do find ourselves on board with Jonathan Hobson here, battling for the pole position here. Started P3, but is looking to grab that lead off Kevin Lau, and particularly from the drivers further back in this packet, it's a very good point you raise how slow their lap times were, because at a track like this, you know, you're taking advantage of the slipstream, you're catching up, but at some point you have to lift. Sometimes you don't want to go for that move. You want to try and maintain the position. You end up having to compromise and cost yourself time, and that's exactly the reason Ian Joyner has joined this top battle.
Yeah, 100% as well. Not only that, Carl Diaz-Castro, it looks like he's got into the mix potentially here as well. No, not quite. My apologies there. Kevin Adrian now keeping him company further back. Meanwhile, though, you got Anthony Ori. He's duking it out with Matthew Johnson. Certainly, we've seen Ori before. Rich Meester's had that unfortunate start, and he's up there with him as well, duking it out for P number 11 overall.
Yes, of course, Rich Meester's the first car to go off the circuit, at least on our TV cameras here in this race. And Kevin Adrian, he sits in 8th spot, which will grant him pole position for race 2 if he finishes there. But he doesn't have any slipstream ahead of him, and he has got Carl Diaz-Castro and Jeffrey Westland working together behind to close that gap. He's going to have some work to do here in the final 3 laps or so.
And you can see here right now, Kevin Adrian looking pretty good right now as well. He's currently leading the club class, so fair play to him. He's just going to have a nice clean race. His next here is competition is Jeffrey Westland, who's honestly not that far behind, but we are indeed going to return to the lead pack, because right now, I'm getting the kind of vibe of cool runnings, and indeed it looks like we got a lot of people in one bobsled going around Mosport, indeed using the Formula 1600 as well.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Jonathan Hobson's driving, and you know, he's really flinging it into these corners. He's getting it sideways on entry into turn 2, and this is one of those cars where you have to be a little bit sideways through the corners for those tires to generate the grip, but it's a really fine knife edge that you step on to try and keep that momentum up through these turns. It's very easy to overstep your marks in these cars, and we just about saw that there from Jakob Shepley behind Bas van der Lee here. Van der Lee, though, is eyes forward and looking at the 4 cars ahead of him who seem glued together at this point. It's going to be 2 laps to go when they cross the line next. This is where it all comes down to the line. Zoltan Zomotor making a move to go to the lead.
Attaboy, certainly this is the best form, indeed the best position we've ever seen Zoltan Zomotor in. He's obviously got on very well here with the 1600 and indeed with Mosport, and right now looking to try and score a podium here in the Almeida Racing Academy. Not only that, on the first race of the season, so fair play. We do hope he can continue this success in the rest of the season, but right now you got to wonder when is going to be the strategic time to make that pass. Certainly, if I was Kevin Lau, there isn't anything he can do to defend at this point. All he can do is try and position himself for that final lap, and I think Ian Joyner will be one of the people who will be very aware of that. Bas van der Lee as well. I think Lau, he's pretty much at this point, he's going to be sitting duck this slipstream down the Andretti straightaway. I don't think he's going to be able to defend him from not just one, but indeed the 5 or 6 cars behind him, all vying for P1.
Yeah, he's the one punching the hole in the air for everybody else. He doesn't have any straight line speed assistance. Mosport is one of those tracks where, in this type of car, you don't want to be the one leading at the white flag, because there's every chance that you won't be leading when the checkered flag flies. Out of Moss then, and keeping an eye on Bas van der Leij once again. He's got one of the best views in the house of this front fight, and he is full focus in the real world, full focus in the sim world, as he picks up the slipstream down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Let's see if there's any moves. It looks like Zomotor is going for it on Lau just up ahead. He's going to try and move into the lead, but Lau defends on the way into turn 8. Goes a little bit deeper into the corner and keeps the German behind. Just about going nose cone to gearbox as the white flag is going to come out. Final lap of race 1 at Mosport starts right now. Which of these drivers is going to be ahead?
Well, certainly Kevin Lau is usually want to be cool, calm, and collected. Right now, I think his man is sweating profusely, and I definitely do not blame him for that. Absolutely incredible defense there as he took the white flag. But what's going Zoltan Zomotor too? Certainly, we got Cairo Enz there in the chat saying Zoltan does tend to do better here at Flowy Tracks. We got Jake Enz in the chat saying Bass for a podium finish. Currently, he's back there in P6. One of the very few drivers who is in the same position as where he started. Timothy Ng being one of them as well. But I've got a feeling it's all going to shape up here. Kevin Lau is going to have to be in an absolutely stellar entry through Moss Corner, indeed, to carry that momentum, carry that exit speed through Moss Corner. Indeed, is it going to be enough making his way down the Andretti straightaway?
Using all of what little curb there is on the exit of Moss. And now the slipstream kicks in. Here comes Zoltan Zomotor, but also here comes Jonathan Hobson. Where does Kevin Lau put his car? They're almost going 3 wide for the lead. Zomotor is going to go for it again, and Hobson's going to latch onto the back of him to try and go through. Banging wheels, interlocking wheels. Kevin Lau and Zoltan Zomotor, they are side by side into turn 8. Which of them's going to remain ahead? Kevin Lau ahead into turn 9. The checkered flag is out at the moment and ready to wave. Will there be a comeback underneath here from Zomotor? Bit of momentum loss from Kevin Lau, but he does just enough to cross the line in first place.
I gotta say, that was an absolutely incredible defense by Kevin Lau. I didn't think for a second he'd be able to pull that off, and that's not a criticism on him. That is the nature of these cars, of the circuit, so I've got to say, damn proud of you for that. The driver of the 88. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it possible, but fair play to him. Bas van der Leij, sadly, did not actually manage to make it up to the podium. He has to settle for 7th place. Jacob Seepley getting the better of him there at the end. But let's go and head back a little bit further here as we got more cars crossing the line. Indeed, looks like we got another battle here happening down the Andretti straightaway. Alfredo Cruciani going up against KF Lau.
Yeah, it looks... yeah, it looks like that's going to be... I'm actually surprised at how quickly the entire field finished that one. It's only been about a minute or so, but everyone was able to stay so close together in the slipstream that we had so many drivers crossing the line within just a few seconds of each other. Man, well, one more car to come to the finish, and that is Steven Saunders, who I believe was the car that we saw off at some point before. The rear bodywork is missing from that car, and that can't be fun around a track as straight line speed heavy as Mosport. But Steve, for his troubles, is going to see the checkered flag.
Absolutely love the paint as well. That car is draped in a Union Jack. My man, attaboy. Let's go on to your results, though, because I got a feeling we're going to be a little bit swamped on time.
Yeah, I think so too. Kevin Lau taking victory, and Zoltan Zomotor just behind him. We have Jonathan Hobson rounding out the podium with Timothy Young, Ian Joyner, Jakob Sepley, Bas van der Leij, Carl Diaz-Castro rounding out your top 8. Diaz-Castro's got pole for race 2. Kevin Adrian finishes 9th and Jeffrey Westland in 10th.
As we have a look here at P number 11, Anthony Orrey's going to be there with Rich Meesters in 12th, with Matthew Johnson having to settle for 13th. Todd Bonesteel takes 14th, with Thomas Niemanen in 15th. Jeremy Childers takes 16th, with Philip Falcon in 17th. Sarunas Bruziger in 18th, with Andre Saboda in 19th. And indeed, Jens Carr rounding out your top 20.
Dominicus Consavicius gaining 7 spots to finish in 21st place, ahead of Kemil Kasim, Marcus Vorpal, and Norman Rinner, with Michael Tan and Charles Krasic up to 26th spot, Ilariano in 27th, then was Joe Haas, KF Lai, and Alfredo Cruciani rounding out your top 30. Manuel Hofer and Stephen Saunders, the last cars to see the checkered flag, and we unfortunately did not see a full checkered flag finish from Mark Schmurder, Nathan Safarian, Tyler Harker, Rupesh Paneni, Brian Lenz, Michael Cords, and Iles Vaik. I believe Kane Halliburton made his way back out onto the track at some point during race 1. We do have a little bit more breathing room before the start of race 2, but really there's only 8 positions we need to talk about here, and that's the top 8. Kyle Diaz-Castro with the invert gets pole position, with Bas van der Lee joining him on the front row. Then it's Jakob Sipley and Ian Joyner on row 2. Timothy Ng and Jonathan Obson in 5 and 6, with Zoltan Zomator and Kevin Lau rounding out your top 8. From there on back, it is where they finished in race 1. Now, Kyle Diaz-Castro is no stranger to starting up the front here. Let's see if he can pull this off.
Indeed, he's going to be feeling the pressure. Indeed, the Panda is going to be sweating in this one. A fair play to him. I've got to say, I'm a little disappointed, Kyle, that I can't see your dogs here in the shot, but fair play to him, and certainly we do wish him the best of luck as we're going to be getting ready to go live here for race number 2, the Almeida Racing League Season 8.
Lights going up, revs going up too. Every bit of the 6,800 RPM that these engines have, and away we go. Little puffs of smoke as everyone gets their power down to the virtual asphalt. And it looks like Kyle Diaz-Castro has a clear run into turn 1. Not the same case for Bas van der Lee and Jakob Seppli, who are side by side for second spot. Everyone behind just trying to find their own little bit of real estate. Coming into turn 2 again, some drivers running wide on the way through that first corner. I believe that might have been Timothy Young or Jeffrey Westland that was going off there in turn 2. But we'll find our way. No, it wasn't Westland. He's found himself back in P11 and actually running quite strongly. Anthony Ori up into 20th spot here, but he's got some very stiff competition from Saranas Bruzga in the Lightning McQueen paint scheme. Manages to dispatch him into Moss, and it looks like a reasonably clean start for just about everybody.
Yeah, it looks like Anthony Ori lost about 6 positions on that first lap, so I'm guessing he might have been the guy who took the scenic route there. As we see Alfredo Cruciani, he's down 5 as well. Nathan Safarian down 4, and oh my, watch Sarah's there. Oh my word, where's he gone?
Yeah,
really
into the
gone.
wall, apparently. Yeah, Saranas Bruzga with quite a big problem there coming out of Moss. And that is going to maybe be a retirement for him. Was this contact from the driver behind? Or was this a hardware? Oh, yeah, it was contact from the number 9, in fact. Who's driving the number 9? Dominicus Consavicius. That's not ideal. Our 2 Lithuanians. Some friendly fire there. Oh, my goodness, that was huge. And actually, another driver got caught up in that. What a shame.
Yeah, I have a feeling that one will indeed be a penalty after the race. But ladies and gentlemen, not surprisingly, and I mean, we're not knocking anybody here, but Ian Joyner has managed to find his way to the front of the pack. Indeed, he's a resident stick here. When the coaches aren't around, he's the man to try and keep up with. And right now, he doesn't just have one car to contend with in the form of Jacob Seepleys, who was certainly potent last season in the Miatas, but Bas van der Lee's up there as well. And indeed, if we have a look, just how close is this? Oh my word, the top 9, ladies and gentlemen, separated by about 1.7 seconds.
And on my timing screen that draws a box around drivers within a second of each other, the top 20 has a box around it, or the top 17 rather.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. This is an incredibly close race, and these wide shots that you see down the Mario Andretti straightaway here, look at the snake of cars. It goes all the way around the exit of Moss. There is no end in sight to this field, but there will be an end in sight for the lead on this lap for Ian Joyner as Jakob Seppli goes for it around the outside of turn 8. Joyner briefly loses the lead, and it looks like he is going to lose it now as Seppli gets a straighter run out of the corner.
Oh
my God! He pushed too hard through turn 8. Joyner was sent wide as well, and that's brought Bas van der Lee and Kyle Diaz-Castro right into this fight. Look at the run from Kyle here as he tries to get his way up the inside of Shipley into turn number 1.
I've never seen a Panda move like that, but indeed, I'm definitely enjoying it. Certainly, David Attenborough has Jacob Seeply there. A little bit of contact as they make their way down towards turn 2.
These drivers are barely holding on to these cars at points. It's insane how much you can push these cars, how much they can slide and be recoverable. But the twitchiness of this chassis, one of the defining characteristics of this car, that's a bad exit there for Zoltan Zomator, getting a wheel into the grass, and Bas van der Leek will duly take 4th place from that. Zoltan Zomator, who was contending for the win in race 1, finds himself back in P5 as the top 3, it seems, are starting to break away and work together.
Well, right now we got a battle here for the club class as well, and indeed these two guys have indeed deuced before. It's going to be Kevin Adrian taking on the very likes of Rich Meesters. These two more senior gentlemen, sorry fellas, are absolutely duking it out, P8 and P9 overall. But right now, Kevin Adrian just hanging on to the back of that lead pack. Rich Meesters about 0.6 of a second behind. Speaking of, Jacob Siepler yet again here having a crack at the number 8 of Ian Joyner.
And Joyner manages to fling it into turn 8 enough to get back the lead back conclusively before the run into turn 9. And out through turn 10 they come, back onto the start-finish straight. An incredibly short start-finish stretch here at Mosport, and it flows right into the fast turn 1. We've had a couple more drivers join the tow to pit lane party, Manuel Hofer and Tyler Harker. So unfortunately those drivers have had something go very wrong for them. Carl Diaz-Castro, though, having a great time in 3rd place at the moment, and keeping Bas van der Leek behind him to the tune of about half a second or so. That is well within slipstream range, though, and we should see that gap narrow. Mark Schmurder with a problem. Looks like he was already going slow on the way down to Moss. I think he picked up some damage earlier on in the lap. That car is not looking healthy. The rear left suspension, in fact, was not in good shape, and so he's had some problems of his own. What happened to Hofer, though, the Austrian, who interlocked wheels with Tyler Harker down the Mario Andretti straightaway? And there's only one thing that happens when open wheel cars interlock wheels: you both go into the wall.
Yeah, certainly. I've seen it with the go-karts as well. If you have a spinning wheel touch something that is not stationary as well, it's fair to say that you are yeeted. You've seen a couple of people get pretty badly hurt doing that. But let's have a look a little bit further back here, as Rich Meesters has not only managed to take the club class lead, but indeed Kevin Adrian has dropped back quite sufficiently as well from this pack. I do have to wonder how that happened, or try and take a look here at a replay. But Meesters now looking to try and run away with it. He's 5 positions clear of where he started.
Yeah, nicely done from Rich. He's going to have to put a bit of extra work in to try and close that gap to the top 6, though, as Kevin Lau's going to get up the inside of him. Meanwhile, this is what happened to Rich at... Oh, okay, yeah, that's Kevin Adrian running wide at Moss, and that's the reason why he dropped back. So Rich Meesters had a front row seat to all of that. We move to 14th spot here, Kane Halliburton, who has worked his way up from 33rd. Remember, he didn't actually take to the start of race 1, and he finished 4 laps down, did our resident coach, and well, now he's showing why he's one of the Almeida Racing Academy coaches. He has pretty much halved his way up through the field with a bit more than half of the race left to go.
Yeah, I could have sworn his I rating's got even higher. He's you know, for those of you that aren't familiar, the I rating is basically a qualification, indeed a number. I'd say a 4-digit number, but some people do make it into the 5s, but very rarely. Basically, the higher it is, the faster you are. You start at 1350, that is the default. Kane Halliburton, the biggest bat in the server, without a doubt, and by a good, healthy margin. He's clear by over 2,300 of the next fastest driver, almost 2,300 of the next fastest driver, which would be Ian Joyner. He has 8,603 I rating. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy numbers. You know, we have some drivers in the pro esports scene getting over 10,000 I rating on the roadside, which is a ridiculous achievement, but there's a lot more drivers around that sort of 8,000, 9,000 area, and Kane Halliburton is one of the foremost of them. We've seen him plenty of times in this series, just putting on some fantastic drives through the field and showing what the coaches can really do. That's KF Lai that's going off in the background.
Yeah, I have a feeling I've seen what happened there. Certainly, if you run a little bit too wide there through turn 1, dip a wheel in the grass, it will come back to bite you. We've seen it in the real world. We've seen it in many shows and indeed many races going around Mosport. But right now, somebody who's definitely not having that issue, Ian Joyner, the Englishman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take pride in being an Englishman at this particular moment. He is currently there in P1. He's up By class, it's telling me 19 positions. That ain't right. But certainly, he's up 3 positions on the day. Kane Halliburton, understandably, the hard charge, 21 positions clear. Rupesh Maneni, I say that, he's just going to make it up 19 positions clear of where he started in this race. Attaboy, Rupesh. We've seen him be incredibly potent before. The Indian driver is nothing short of subliminally fast, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's doing very good. Looking to try and find his way back towards the top 10.
Yes, he had a rough race one with that contact with Tyler Harker while battling for the podium spots. Philip Falcon, another one of the drivers who's returned from previous seasons, fighting for 13th place with Kane Halliburton.
Nice move.
And yeah, actually, that was a fantastic move that Philip Falcon just put on there. I believe that was a lapped car, though, potentially. Halliburton is still behind him and catching up. But Anthony Ori is in the I'm not sure which car, honestly. This is looking a bit confusing at the moment. There's just so many cars zipping around the screen. I'm having trouble picking a car to focus on. Oh, well, that's one car to focus on. The one that's in the grass right now. It appears that's Todd Bonesteel.
Yeah, definitely taking a little bit of a scenic room there around turn number 2.
Careful
indeed.
on the rejoin.
Yeah, Dominicus Consavicius is trying to look and avoid him indeed. Let's take a look here. Kane Halliburton currently the fastest lap of the session, 126.94. The lead back doing 127.2s, 128. So indeed, Kane Halliburton currently, oh my word, what's happened up there?
Rich Meesters and Kevin Lau both off at Moss Corner. Now, race 1 winner is now back to P12, and this is how it happened. Just lost the rear, and Rich Meesters could barely do anything to avoid that. He'd already committed to the corner, and so it was really hard to slow down. And now Kevin Lau has a bit of damage to his right-hand side. Not entirely sure how that's going to affect his handling, but Kevin Adrian, we move back up to, as he's now facing off against Kane Halliburton.
Good luck.
And yeah, good luck indeed. Let's see what kind of gains Kane makes here on the run up to the start-finish line. The battle for the lead is still going on while this is happening. It is no longer a top 3 breakaway. Joyner, Shepley, and Diaz Castro are joined by Zomator, Vanderlei, and Eng. They're all trying to share that same piece of racetrack. But Kevin Adrian here, he's focusing forward, and maybe he'll be hoping that if Halliburton does eventually pass him, maybe he can get some slipstream and try and pursue that pack.
Honestly, at this point, I would strategically let Halliburton go by. Kevin Adrian, as you can see here on the left, he is leading the club class standings right now, so certainly could be a good, solid opportunity for him. The biggest thing he wants to do is make sure he avoids contact, keep it going straight. His next nearest competition, 3.5 seconds back, ladies and gentlemen, in the form of Matthew Johnson.
Yes, indeed. This is plenty of slipstream potential down the Mario Andretti straightaway. How about it for Jakob Shepley, who moves ahead of Ian Joyner? Goodness me, there was a big fat swerve from Ian Joyner just then as they came through the kink. Not entirely certain why that was, but and they are really pushing these cars to their absolute limits here. Going to be 3 laps to go when they cross the line, and well, we've already had one race where the driver in front at the white flag was able to take it at the checkered, but I gotta wonder, is that going to be the same case here?
We've got Jay Kens in the chat saying he could be the world's first iRating with a first iRating of 0001. Now indeed would be a good series to watch on YouTube. Fair play to you. That'd take talent to actually get it that low. That is not a challenge set out to the community. I don't want to see you causing havoc in officials, but right now, you see Ian Joyner really getting into some contention here, as that is very wide there from Seapley. He is off the track, mowing the lawn, and ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be catastrophic for him. Zoltan Zomator says, thank you very much. Sneaks up on the inside and goes side by side there before they get to Moss Corner. Timothy Ing looking to try and do the same.
Looks like there was maybe a bit of contact between Ian Joyner and Jakob Shepley there, and Shepley sent wide as a result in turn 3, but he'll try his best to fight back. Oh dear, that's Kane Halliburton in the tyres. That's not where the car's supposed to be. What on earth happened to him?
Well, I'm trying to get a replay up, and it's not actually going into me. Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. That looks like a hardware failure to me. Not entirely certain what's going on there for Kane. Bit of a mysterious occurrence, but he is still in the tyres now with Ian Joyner out in front with 2 laps to go. Kyle Diaz-Castro pursuing him. Zoltan Zomator currently sitting in P3 with Chipley, Ng and Vanderlei rounding out your top 6. Still with a solid breakaway from the rest of the field here, but keeping it as clean as they can considering the circumstances.
Yeah, fair play again. Zoltan Zomator is up there today, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to say, we're going to call out iRacing at this particular moment. Not because we dislike iRacing, but because, and purely because I've had the pleasure of commentating here in real life, and the building I got to commentate from is not in this track scan. So sorry, iRacing, just for me, specifically just for me. If you'd like to do the honors and rescan it, just add that building, I'd feel much, much better about it. As you can see there, Timothy Ng and Jacob Seepley now trading positions for P, oh my word, P number 4.
Both of our leaders got their left side wheels into the gravel between the 2 corners of Moss. That shows you how hard Ian Joyner and Kyle Diaz-Castro are pushing here, and they've gotten a solid gap over the rest of the top 6 here. Zomator's in trouble as Diaz-Castro moves past Joyner, and I get the feeling Ian, is he going to fight this? I think he is. He seems to make some extra gains on the way into the corner, potentially picking up some side draft from Kyle there. Oh, and some contact on the way out of turn 8. This is real elbows out stuff. Racing is usually considered a non-contact sport, and these certainly aren't touring cars, so maybe they have to reel it in a little. White flag out. Let's see which of these guys ends up on top. Timothy Ng finds his way into P3, dispatches Zoltan Zomator back to P4, and Shipley and Vanderlei both look to take advantage again.
Yeah, Seepley's looking particularly racy today, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's applying all sorts of pressure. Zoltan Zomator, though, really coming out of the woodwork here, showing that he is indeed capable in the 1600 and indeed potent around Mosport, as he's currently up there in P number 4. But I've got to say, we've got Rich Beasis there in the chat. I was trying to work with Kevin to catch up, and the spin in Moss undid everything. And like, yep, Moss will indeed do that, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, low risk, high reward at times is the way to go. But right now, your race leader, this is the white flag lap. Can Ian Joyner hold on? We saw Kevin Lau do it in just one race ago. Much to my surprise, ladies and gentlemen, can Joyner do it as well? He's about 3 tenths clear as they exit Moss Corner and make their way down the Andretti straightaway.
But you know what comes with being slightly further behind in the slipstream? A mammoth slingshot. And it looks like that's what Kyle Diaz-Castro is trying to pull off here. But Timothy Ng right beside him, picking up some side draft. Yep, gonna get boxed in is Kyle. And trying around the outside of turn 8. Not much grip out there. And they're barely separated by anything. Ian Joyner will try his best to focus forward here, and it looks like that's all he'll have to do. As through the final corner they come, Diaz-Castro is keeping Ng ahead. No, he's not. Oh! Just rounding out that top 3 there is Kyle at the end. Timothy Ng getting him in the last couple of corners. Ian Joyner winning in race 2.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. We're going to try and catch more of these battles here, ladies and gentlemen, as well as they make their way down and across the line. I got to say, wowzers. 40 car field and 27 finished. Whoops.
Yeah, that was quite the race of attrition. Halliburton, Meesters, Saunders, Norman, Rennick, KF Lai.
26 positions up for Refresh Beneni. That's insane.
Oh, wow.
That's jealous.
Crazy. Yeah. Excellent stuff. A brilliant recovery from Rupesh. Would have been nice to see it capped off with getting into the top 10, but hey, 11th is certainly nothing to sneeze at from starting all the way back in position number 37. Well, that makes the results official, and Ian Joyner is going to take victory in race number 2. He was able to keep Timothy Ng and Kyle Diaz-Castro right behind him, with Zoltan Zomator finishing P4. Excellent job. And Jakob Shepley rounding out your top 5. Bas van der Lee joins them in 6th. Kevin Adrian managed to keep Jeremy Childers and Jonathan Hobson behind him, and Matthew Johnson will round out your top 10.
Yeah, fair play as well. Johnson making his first appearance here today and managed to get a P2 in that one in the club class. With Rivers Rennie taking P11 overall. Indeed, the hard charger, 26 positions gained. Attaboy, nicely done. With Philip Falcon rounding out your club class podium in P12 overall. Kevin Lau takes 13th with Anthony Ori in 14th. Jens Carr, the Englishman, takes 15th with Andre Saboda in 16th. Todd Bonesteel, the man, the legend, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in P17 with Michael Tan in 18th. Jeffrey Westland, shifter car driver, in 19th with Michael Cords rounding out your top 20.
In 21st was Brian Lenz with a great recovery from his retirement from race 1. He's now up from his initial qualifying position. Nathan Safarian finishes in 22nd place, up from 35th. Another great gain there, with Joe Haas in 23rd ahead of Ilariano. Last couple of cars on the lead lap, Thomas Niemanen and Dominicus Contavicius, and a lap down, Marcus Vorpal. Kane Halliburton 2 laps from the end, a very mysterious crash. Rich Meesters in 29th and Stephen Saunders in 30th, the first of a long retirement list.
Indeed, as we have a look at P11, KF Lai is going to get that with Norman Ryan in 32nd, with Alfredo Cruciani in 33rd. LS Magic takes 34th with Charles Krasik in 35th. Manuel Hoffer in 36th with Tyler Harker. Definitely looking to see a little bit more from him, actually. He's in 37th with Mark Schmoder in 38th. Sarunas Bruzga in 39th, and indeed Kemal Kasim rounding out your top 40. What an incredible grid, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's it's a crazy amount of drivers in the server for this first round of the season, and they will be taking it to the start for the 20-minute feature in just under 3 minutes time. While we're at it, we are going to take a breath, as we so often need to with how intense this league is, for a little word from the Almeida Racing Academy.
Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real-world superstar, Suelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Suelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Wait a race, buddy, wait a race.
My goodness, what a fantastic first round of the new season it has been. 7 seasons run so far. This is the 8th of the Almeida Racing League, and at a track that is very near and dear to us here at Pit Road Productions, and a car that's very near and dear to us as well. They just keep nailing it here at ARA, and I'm really happy to be a part of this once again. If you're just joining us, I'm Reese Gardner, and it's Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box and handling production behind the scenes. 30 seconds to go in the warm-up session, and now we have 5 extra minutes on the clock for this third and final race, Zippy.
Oh, it's going to be an absolute belter, but certainly if you want to be involved, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way you've got to do it. You've got to be a member of the Almeida Racing Academy. Indeed, they do have a free membership as well, and at this point, it is too late to get into this season of the Academy and start racing. Indeed, potentially seeing us here on Pit Road Productions, but before you do that, get involved, start refining your skills over the season, and then maybe we'll see you for season number 9.
Yeah, maybe we will indeed. Of course, an Academy membership, a gold membership, gives you access to this league, and well, for 50 a month, I think that's a pretty good price to gain access to all of the coaching material from Suelio Almeida and friends to help you get faster, both on the real world track and the virtual track too. Time for the grid. for race number 3. Ian Joyner, our winner from race 2, is going to start on pole alongside Timothy Young, with Carl Diaz-Castro in third alongside Zoltan Zomator. Jakob Sepli and Bas van der Lee round out your top 6. Then it's Kevin Adrian, Jeremy Childers, Jonathan Hobson and Matthew Johnson rounding out your top 10. It's only a short grid timer for this third and final race, so I don't know if we'll be able to get through everyone in time. Let's make sure that we take that start. 25 seconds remain until the drivers put the hammer down. What are you expecting from this one, Zippy? More of the same?
Pretty much carnage, ladies and gentlemen. Just looking at that bridge, I've had the pleasure of walking across that. It's awesome, and certainly when the cars go by, you feel it. It doesn't just resonate in your chest, in your ears. You feel it resonating in your heart. The spirit of racing, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a huge thank you to everybody who makes all of this come together. Certainly the admin team behind the scenes as well, and obviously everybody here in the academy. But we are indeed going to be getting ready to go live here for the final race today here at Mosport.
Lights up, revs up. Make sure that you have your clutch bite points sorted. And a green flag flies. Barely any smoke from Ian Joyner as he pulls that car away to a great start. Nice and even coming into turn 1. Has the luxury of choosing whatever line he pleases. And then Timothy Young and Kyle Diaz-Castro continue to pursue him on the way into turn 2. Quite a few positions being shuffled further back in the field. It would appear that Jeffrey Westland and Tyler Harker have not taken to the start. Brian Lenz now into 19th spot and trying to move his way further forward. But it's really difficult to try and find your own little bit of space in a field like this. Kane Halliburton. Yeah, whoops-a-daisy. Oh dear. The resident coach making contact with another car and sending them a long way back. We've had some drivers losing a few spots out of this as Halliburton gets alongside Joe Haas and puts him back down a position, but Haas picks up the throttle very nicely out of Moss and may continue to push him here. They've got Thomas Niemanen right behind them as well. Niemanen not having as much luck in the F1600 as he had in the Spec Racer Ford and the MX-5, so we'll see what he can do to improve his fortunes over the course of this race. Contact, meanwhile, for last couple of positions in the top 8 there. Jeremy Childers almost getting sent wide by Jonathan Hobson.
Yeah, certainly Hobson has indeed made an appearance, ladies and gentlemen, as that is a little bit wide there by Kevin Adrian. Indeed, looking good. I've got to say, loving the absolute variety of paints we got here, as it looks like Jacob Seepley is getting a little bit racy here behind the likes of Carl Diaz-Castro. Indeed, he's side by side with Zoltan Zomator. As I say that, Zomator takes to the grass.
Yeah, they are pushing ever harder here in this final race, and with a track temperature of 36 degrees Celsius, they got to be careful not to slide those tires around too much, because that will put a lot of heat into them. And you got to be careful with the grass lining the edges of this racetrack, swapping back and forth just behind Kevin Adrian, Jeremy Childers, Jonathan Hobson, Rupesh Paneni, right in the midst of all of this as well, side by side, as Hobson gets up the inside of Childers, but isn't able to maximize the exit. Really difficult to make the narrow line through Moss work.
Yeah, that looked like he kind of backed at it a little bit, and then as a result, he pretty much got mugged there by Childers and indeed Paneni. As something's happened back here with Rich Meesters, I got a warning for him.
Oh yes, Rich Meesters with another problem here. This was on the way into the final corner. No, actually Moss. Oh, someone was already off there, and there was some contact between himself and I'm not sure who that is.
Manuel, I think.
The car number 14, yes, that's Manuel Hofer, who unfortunately also involved in the same problem. Well, you make heavy enough contact and both cars can go spinning.
Indeed, they definitely can. Meanwhile, though, there's more battles happening throughout, ladies and gentlemen. Multiple packs. Indeed, one of the American drivers here. He's not just got one fin to do to contend with. He's got two of them. Indeed. Oh my word!
Oi, that's Matthew Johnson that has gone spinning around, and there's further carnage ahead. Anthony Ori and Jen's car off at turn 2. Andre Svoboda also losing positions. What on earth just happened there?
Alright, I'm going to try and go through the replay. That was catastrophically painful, that one.
Now I could pick up, and it looks like Zomator is going to be sent off. No, Mark Schmurder, sorry, is going to be sent off there too. Wow! Svoboda just sent onto his roll hoop. Oh dear. Nathan Safarian with a great view of all of that. Somehow
good lad.
managed to get it back onto the racetrack. Very nicely done.
Oh, there we go. That's what did it.
Yeah. Secondary contact. Yeah, so Jen's car, unfortunately. Lucky man with cars going in front and behind as they speared into the runoff. Well, nothing short of chaos can be expected from time to time here, and we just saw that in action.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot happening at once, but right now, for the first time this season, ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the number 8, Mr. Ian Joyner, has not just managed to take the lead, he has indeed managed to pull away from the pack miraculously. He's about 1.2 seconds clear. Indeed, this reminds me a little bit, certainly going up against the DJ Alessandrini and WDCR, ladies and gentlemen, another show we've got here on Pit Road Productions Monday nights. We always come and check that out if you want a little bit more racing entertainment. But right now, you see Carl Diaz Castro there is currently in second. He's got Timothy Ng alongside as Diaz Castro goes wide, and Timothy Ng just says thank you very much, makes his way through, and indeed absolutely mugs him for that position.
I was going to say second place, but not for long. Bit too wide out of turn 3. And it's very tempting to get on the power nice and early there, but it'll end with you in the grass 9 times out of 10. Moss, the slowest corner on the racetrack. Always very easy to get yourself alongside in these cars, but hard to get the move done and make it stick. Timothy Young then alongside Jakob Shepley, and Jakob managing to get into second place for the moment. These guys are battling very hard at the moment, which is only giving more of an advantage to Joyner every single corner.
Yeah, pretty much they've left Joyner. He's expanded that gap about another 7 tenths of a second as well. Not only that, last lap was indeed his fastest, or 127.5. I do have to wonder if he's going to go even quicker on this lap as well. In fact, he might have just matched. He did. 127.26 finds another 2 tenths of a second as we're on the board here with driver of the number 4, our favourite Dutchman in the series today, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Bath. He's there, lifted off a little bit there through turn 1. Indeed, he's just seems quite content here to sit behind Carl Diaz Castro as Kane Halliburton takes the fastest lap with a 126.6. That's almost 5 tenths of a second faster than Joyner.
I'd say 1.5 seconds faster. Oh, no. Yeah, no, you're right. 7 tenths of a second faster. I was looking at a completely different area of the timing screen, which I often do. Halliburton up into 13th spot, but could lose a position here as Nathan Safarian tries to get up his inside there. Todd Bonesteel is the driver that Halliburton was trying to pass, and Safarian trying to follow him through on Bonesteel and manages to get to the apex of Moss, but too slow on that inside line. Couldn't take advantage, and Rupesh Paneni says, thank you very much. That will be 15th place for me. Interesting to see that Rupesh actually dropped a few positions in those opening laps. He's on a recovery at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be keen to find his way forward, but certainly I think Safarian may have just learned a lesson there. Side by side through Moss Corner, while possible, is not the optimum there for outright pace. So Jones definitely suffering a little bit there. He's already about a second back from the likes of Kane Halliburton as well. It looks like same for Safarian and Todd Bonesteel are very much going at it here. Thomas Niemann getting into the mix as well. Where did Ilariano go? He was right together earlier with his fellow Finn.
Yeah, Arnio's back in 25th now. He's just been passed by Serenas Bruzga. So it looks, Ilari was one of the cars that went off there. He was the one who went behind Jens. Yes. Good dodge there. Okay. Yeah, very good dodge indeed. He went for the safe option, and it's allowed him to stay out on track, albeit quite a few positions down from where he was. Back up to the battle for second, though. Timothy Young is starting to get a bit of a gap over these guys, and Carl Diaz Castro is facing off against Jakob Shipley. Oh my God, Childers and Adrian and Vanderlee. They all find a bit of contact there. Not Childers, but Adrian and Vanderlee together on the run up to Moss, and that's going to be Kevin Adrian out of the race there. Bas Vanderlee, I think he was looking for a way through the trees there, but none presents itself to him, and he's going to retire as well. That was a massive incident. Let's see it from above. Ooh.
Yeah, it looked like somebody kind of lifted there. Let's go for another view here a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so Vanderlee's issue there was that he had cars in front of him, and that's at the point where the slipstream really gets picked up. I don't know. I just think maybe Kevin Adrian didn't expect him to lift there, but you've always got to be prepared to lift at such a draft-heavy track where drivers are just trying to set themselves up for the next exits. Regardless, it's an unfortunate incident that will result in no points for these guys coming out of this final race. Philip Falcon, meanwhile, has found his way into the top 10, which is a stellar drive from the 192.
Definitely fair play to Philip Falcon as well. First time I've ever seen him leading the club class, and I'm absolutely over the moon to see it. Fair play to him. Michael Cords, so certainly I don't recognise that name in the long-term list of people we've seen here on Pit Road Productions, but right now he's currently back in P16 overall, but P2 in the club class. But he's got Anthony Ori, who's going to give him a run for his money, right behind for P3.
Yep, the club class battle has always been super tight in this league, and it looks like Season 8 is going to provide more of the same, which I certainly love to see. Anthony Ori trying to nail the exit out of Moss, and, well, we saw a bit of dust being kicked up, a bit of smoke, and that was, I believe, Illes Vike, potentially, or Nathan Safarian, finding the wide line through Moss. Carl Diaz-Castro still trying to hold on to P3 here. Jakob Seppli is giving him a run for his money, side by side into turn 8. But look ahead, Timothy Ng has managed to get free of them himself, and he's catching up to Ian Joyner.
That is incredible. I'm impressed right now. Certainly Ian Joyner, no slouch behind the wheel. Indeed, he's got to try and hold off the likes of Timothy Ng for another 10 minutes. Look out further behind, though. Seepley has been aggressive. Certainly Jeremy Childers looks like he's come out with a vengeance today as he's making his way around turn 2. That's a little bit wide there by Diaz-Castro. Childers there have a little bit of an overrun, almost touching the left rear to the right front of his car. The 77 and the 37 may indeed become closer than more than just numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Rubber pretty much straight to Zoltan Zovator up on the inside as well. Jonathan Hobson with a front row seat of this. And honestly, if I was you, buddy, I don't know if I'd be putting my nose in there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a door that very rapidly closes in your face. But Jonathan Hobson, racing from Norway, he is the picture of focus at the moment. I haven't seen a driver move around in their seat as much as Jonathan Hobson does. You usually look at them on the cams and they are stone-faced, absolutely rock still. But Hobson is far from that. He is moving around. He is looking everywhere. A very active driver, which I love to see.
Well, one of the people who we've not seen here up in an outright podium before is Jeremy Childers. A fair play. He's absolutely up there. Atta boy, damn proud of him. Certainly he's a driver who we've seen flip between Split 2, Split 1, and not only did he make Split 1 this season, he made Split 1 Premier Class as well, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, he's got Jacob Seepley behind. But speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, we have a battle on for the lead. Ian Joyner now under attack from Timothy Ng.
With 8 minutes to go and my timing telling me 7 laps, this is going to be quite the interesting fight. Timothy Ng has managed to set the fastest lap, or faster laps than Joyner for the last few laps running. Ian, of course, with no one to help him out in front and nothing but his own power to pull him along down the straights. But Timothy, I have to say, quite an impressive effort to catch him up and get into slipstream range. From there, just letting the draft do the work, and now these two are clear of everyone else and able to battle, because this squabble it shows no signs of ending, especially with Kane Halliburton joining the fray.
Yeah, certainly that is indeed a curveball in the mix for sure. And indeed, loving the new helmet there by Kane Halliburton as well. But I've got to wonder, how is he going to do against these new Almeida Academy Split 1 contenders? Certainly right now, I'm going to say the Splatoon liveried 86 of Jonathan Hobson. Very much on the draft. He's getting a good bit of draft there, and Halliburton's not been able to do anything. He's pretty much stuck in the mix as well. The lead pack there. Look at the move. That's 1. Can he make it 2 now? Halliburton with the slingshot. That's contact.
Oh, but it ultimately doesn't result in a crash. Jakob Seppli somehow holding on to that and staying in the fight.
Oh dear, I am sweating.
It is 1:15 in the morning for me, and I'm sure I'm waking up the neighbors with all of my screaming here. This is fantastic racing, though. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else right now. This is fantastic stuff. Let's see what can be done to sort this out coming into turn 3. Halliburton and Zomator breaking away from the rest of the pack. Everyone wanted that third position, and unfortunately for this pursuing pack of drivers, that's resulted in them losing touch with our top 2 here. Ian Joyner and Timothy Young still running line astern, almost flying in formation at the front of this field. And I understand from Timothy's perspective, he doesn't want to be slicing and dicing with Joyner. He wants to be sticking in the slipstream. He wants to protect the gap that they have.
Indeed, certainly we've got a question here. What is Timothy Young's I rating? Certainly it's around 33.79, but that's not stopping him. Ladies and gentlemen, side by side here with Ian Joyner. They're almost 3 wheels there in a line, almost contact. Look, we have a weave there. That must have been about a foot in the gap. These guys are absolutely duking it out as they make their way down towards one of the final corners. Ladies and gentlemen, the left-hander got to carry as much momentum as you can. Make your way past pit lane and carry all of that momentum down to start-finish straight here at Mosport.
Using all of the curb on the exit. Love to see it. Through turn 1, it's just a lift in these cars. Maybe, if anything, a tiny tap of the brakes to keep the rotation going, but you are basically foot to the floor for the majority of this lap. Hobson off into the grass briefly out of turn 1. Halliburton now leading the pack for third. Zomator, Childers, Shipley, Hobson, Diaz-Castro, Kevin Lau, our race 1 winner, and Philip Falcon bringing up the rear of it.
Okay, so now it's going to be a little bit of preach to tactics, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Philip Falcon, as much as he's going to want to make his way through this pack, ladies and gentlemen, do a little bit of a spotty connection there. He's currently P1 in the club class. Low risk, high reward. He wants to try and score some championship points. That's a little bit of a touch of the grass there for Diaz-Castro as he makes his way into Moss corner. Indeed, Philip Falcon, if you can hear me, my best advice, stay with this pack. Low risk, high reward, as it could be an absolutely fantastic haul of points for you.
Yeah, you just see Rupesh Paneni popping into the foreground there. He's starting to make some move towards catching these guys up. And we could see an 8-way battle for P3 in the next couple of laps. We'll have to wait and see on that. So the entry to turn 8 is one of the most treacherous parts of this circuit. You're just trying to pick your line, try to stick to the inside. What more can be done? Diaz-Castro now manages to move past Kevin Lau, but Kevin lunging at him at the exit.
Yeah, indeed. He's definitely going to try and make a move here around turn 1. That's going to be it's going to be a possible move, but almost contact there, but it's going to slow him down from the rest of the pack as well. As meanwhile, though, it looks like Jeremy Childers now getting into, oh my word, that's gone wrong! Childers, Zomator. How did they get away with that?
And how are they finding their way through that? Goodness me. That was almost, yeah, I mean, I can't come up with any other superlatives for that. That was insane.
I got a few, but I can't say them.
Yeah, for sure. Great save from both of those drivers. Just incredible stuff. We're going to get another view of that because, goodness me, we need to see that again. Jeremy Childers on the way into turn 2. I mean, he just got hit from behind and somehow managed to get it straightened up again with Jakob Shepley. And though there were a few drivers losing spots out of that, somehow they all managed to get through it in a straight line. Meanwhile, back to live pictures, the fight's still going on here. Zoltan Zomator and Rupesh Paneni now bringing up the rear. And oh, there's a crash ahead. Oh, big puff of smoke. And that's Diaz-Castro, who's slow, coming out of turn 8. Oh, nearly. Rupesh Paneni getting into him. Oh, no. Jeremy Childers with now losing his position in the top 10. Will try his best to keep up with Todd Bone Steele. But with 2 laps to go, the lead battle has gotten a bit more complicated. Kane Halliburton has joined Ian Joyner and Timothy Ing, and now they are all slicing and dicing for it. Ing was trying his best to keep up with Joyner, trying to put some moves on him. They ran side by side at points, but it seems that Ian wasn't interested in letting Timothy lead the way. He was more than comfortable being the guy taking point at the front. But that's just opened up the opportunity for Halliburton to make up bulk time on these guys, and it is now a 3-way fight for the win with the white flag set to come out.
Oh my gosh, it's been an absolutely insane battle. Fair play, you can see why he's the Academy coach. Ladies and gentlemen, 8,603 I rating is not done by having a good race. That's by having multiple back-to-back talented, good race, indeed clean races at that, as Kane Halliburton looks to try and split them down the middle, potentially. No, the door is shut. Joyner is very aware of that, and the Team Academy students are not having it. They do not want Halliburton to take the lead.
Trying to manage the slip of the rear end coming into these final corners. Halliburton gets past Timothy Ing as the white flag flies. We have 1 lap to go at Mosport for round 1 of the Almeida Racing League Season 8, and Ian Joyner leads across the line, but I'm sure Kane Halliburton is going to give him a run for his money here. These two have raced together before, almost always in this series, and you can always be guaranteed a tight battle with these guys.
Oh, 100%, you definitely can. Indeed, we've got Kevin Adrian making an appearance here on the chat as well. And I believe that's Matthew Johnson who's made an appearance. Brian Lenz making the appearance as well. Great to have you in the chat there, gentlemen. But right now, you got to wonder, can Ian Joyner hold on himself and Kane Halliburton? These two knights have indeed drawn swords before, and I have to wonder if Joyner is going to be able to repeat the talents of Kevin Lau on this occasion. Don't get me wrong, going up against an academy coach nonetheless. Indeed, that's like bringing a knife to a gunfight almost. Ladies and gentlemen, certainly Halliburton is indeed potent within his own right, but can Joyner do the defense here that we saw Kevin Lau do a little bit earlier? Fair play. I did say to Philip Falcon, stay in the pack, and indeed it's worked out for him so far. P9 overall, and a good solid 6 positions clear of Michael Cords, who's P2 in the club class, as Halliburton now deucing with Joyner, trying to get into the number 1 spot.
Oh, and almost doing 3 wide on the way to turn 8. It's going to happen. No! Timothy Ing, I think smartly backing out of that as they interlock wheels for the lead. Kane Halliburton versus Ian Joyner into the final corner. Joyner has the inside line, and there's barely anything between them on the run up to the checkered flag. Who's going to finish ahead? Halliburton making gains, but it's not going to be enough. Ian Joyner wins race 3.
I gotta say, what an absolutely astonishing battle. Let's head a little bit further back, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, they make it across the line. Absolute onslaught of cars. Multiple battles happening there as well. Let's go a little bit further back here. Rich Mises now. He's in a battle with Manuel Hoffer.
Yeah, this is a tight fight here for the 25th position. Manuel Hoffer up 10 positions, which is a pretty impressive recovery from his fortunes earlier on. He won't be able to get Rich Meesters on the run up to the line, but he will see the checkered flag, which is still a great way to start the season. It is a long season as well ahead of us. Plenty of challenging circuits, plenty of great racing to be had. Those are your final few finishes across the line. Ian Joyner, 0.008 of a second in it between himself and Kane Halliburton. Timothy Ing is going to finish 3rd, but get points for 2nd because the coaches are not eligible for points. Kevin Lau and Jonathan Hobson round out your top 5. Then it's Rupesh Paneni, Jakob Shepley, and Zoltan Zomator ahead of Philip Falcon, who takes the win in the club class ahead of Kyle Diaz-Castro, rounding out the top 10.
As we have a look there in P11, Todd Bonesteel makes an appearance with Jeremy Childers. He was doing so well. I feel bad for him at that point, but fair play. He's had pace here this season so far. He takes 12 with Michael Cords taking P2 in club class, indeed P13 overall with Anthony Ori right behind him in 14th. Michael Tan takes 15th with Nathan Safarian. Good to see him back. He's there in 16th with Elias Vajic. Again, a returning member here. He's there in 17th with Marcus Vorpal in 18th. Alfredo Cruciani in 19th. And indeed, Thomas Niemanen making it to P number 20.
Rounding out 21st position in the end was Jens Carr. Saranas Brusca finishes behind him in 22nd, ahead of Joe Haas and Delariano. Rich Meesters, Manuel Hofer, Dominicus Conservicius, Norman Rinner, KF Lai, and Mark Schmurder rounding out your top 30. Lai and Schmurder, the first of our real retirements of this final race.
As we have a look there in P31, Bas van der Lee, certainly a little bit unfortunate getting into a tangle there with Kevin Adrian. I do think there was a little bit of a lift maybe, and indeed that ended up being the unstick them. What unstuck them both. He takes 31st with Kevin Adrian 32nd. Kemal Kasim, good to see him back. He's in 33rd with Charles Krasik. Again, another returning member. Indeed, as is Jeffrey Westland in 34th and 35th. Again, Andre Saboda, more returning members, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic stuff in 36th with Matthew Johnson in 37th. Brian Lenz takes 38th. Where were you to driver camp today, Brian? I'm calling you out. With Steve Saunders, again, same question for you, sir, in 39th. Tyler Harker taking the 40th spot in the results. What an absolute treat of racing that was.
Yeah, my goodness, it was a treat, and I think the 2 victories to his name will be a treat for Ian Joyner to start off this season. He joins us now. Ian, welcome back to the Pit Road Productions booth. Qualifying, of course, was always going to be difficult around here with the dependence on the slipstream, but you made short work of getting your way into the top 10 and then the top 5 in race 1.
Yeah, it's never raced here before, so it's been fun getting to know it. It's really tough. I mean, qualifying was always going to be difficult. I think I crashed twice, I think, within about 5 minutes of being in the sim, so it wasn't very clean at all. Yeah, but I can't remember, I scraped to 11th, so least was, knew I just wanted to try and survive from there as much as possible. It's really hard to go forward, so when you're in, it's like an F1 DRS train down that back straight. Not easy for the front 2 to pass anyway, but everyone behind just has drafts, so it's very hard to get in the overlap. But I fitted a little bit from the reverse grid. I felt a little bit for Kevin. I think I've been there a few times where if you do well in the first race, it really punishes you getting that reverse grid. And the second one being the grid for the feature, so that went well. And yeah, it was really, really tight racing, just over and over again into the end of the back straight, side by side, trying to survive. Few little rubs. It wasn't my cleanest race, but it was certainly great fun and a brilliant fun finish with Aiden and Timothy.
Yeah, it was a fantastic battle between you 3 for that race 3 win. But I mean, you know, we didn't see much of you in the MX-5s last season, so it's good to see you back and in a car that seems to suit you as much as the spec racer Ford does. What are your thoughts on the F1600?
I have driven it quite a lot in the past. I generally, I think I really like it, but in some ways, the way the wheels lock can interlock is a bit annoying being open wheeled versus the SRFs, and it is fun to drive. The handling it's kind of mad because the rear end is so loose, so you can just constantly dance in the rear around, especially on a track like this. But that is also fun. It does make the racing, I think, a little bit more treacherous than perhaps the SRFs or the Mazdas, really, because it's so easy to sort of just get tangled up with each other. But it's certainly fun to drive.
Well, we thank you very much for joining us, Ian, and wishing you all the best for the remainder of the season to come. It looks like you're going to be fighting for that championship once again, but of course it is only early runnings. We won't speak too early. Thanks very much, mate. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, both. Speak soon.
Ian Joyner winning races 2 and 3. It looks like Zippy and I got our wires crossed on the drag there, but Zippy, you've got Kevin Lau.
Well, certainly, Kevin, it's good to see you indeed making a return here to the Almeida Academy. Qualified in P3, won race number 1, 13th in race 2. All right, we won't host you for that one. Indeed, 4th in the final race. Fair play to you, indeed. Good opening round here for you today at Mosport.
Yeah, pretty good. I think all things considered, I only made, one mistake that cost me positions, which was that spin into turn 5. Picked up some air damage after that, and I think before that I had the pace to catch the pack ahead. Yeah, still room for improvement.
Well, certainly the splits have got smaller, and as a result, the splits have got bigger, which is a complete cluster to the whole English language at that point. But indeed, 40 cars for you to contend with here today, and able to make it in the top half for every single race. How do you think this new format's going to go, having a few more drivers to contend with? And is there anybody in particular who you're going to mark out as your rival here for the season?
I think, yeah, well, a lot of cars after the win in race 1, that invert put me right in the middle of that top pack, and it's going to be a challenge. I think I'm going to learn a lot about racecraft in the 1600s. We had a little bit of wheel banging with Timothy. I think he might be the closest in pace to me. Other than that, Bass, we know he's fast, and I think Kyle is right up there as well. Ian is just a little bit out of touch as usual, and Kane's the coach, right? So I don't think I'm going to be beating him anytime soon.
Well, certainly we will wish you the best of luck in giving him a run for his money. I compare him to the resident house robot, if that makes you feel any better. Indeed, you can bring everything you've got, but still the house robot is the one not to mess with. And certainly, I do miss from previous seasons where we had it, if you held off a coach, you got some bonus points. I thought that was great, because indeed Mike Sargent was the epiphany for doing that. Indeed,
I think I probably would have picked up just like a point or two from that. I think he was behind me for a couple laps.
Attaboy. You tell him who's boss. Indeed, we'll watch how that works for you. But certainly,
Swellio is boss.
Yeah, Swellio is indeed the boss. Certainly, he's racing in the Lotus Emira Cup now. Not only that, Connor Bell is going to be at Riverside International Speedway. I don't know how it's international, ladies and gentlemen. It's just in Antigonish, which is really nothing really going on in Nova Scotia. But Kevin, I got to say, what a fantastic debut round for you. Indeed, you came out with a vengeance. Is there anybody you want to shout out for today's performance?
You know, my dad's always watching, so Dad, this one's for you.
Attaboy. Certainly a proud father indeed. It sounds like as well we're going to have somebody who's going to be a proud father. We've got there in the chat as well. Cairo Ends. It sounds like he's going to be making his status into daddy territory very shortly. I don't know if this is number one. Hey. Yep, but regardless, absolutely congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed there, Kevin. But I do believe, Reese, you've been able to catch up with the very own Nathan Safarian making an appearance here in the Pit Road Productions booth.
Yes, indeed, Nathan. Welcome back. It's been a minute since you've been in here with us. It was tough out there for you. Race 1, 7 laps down from the end. Unfortunately, crashing, finishing outside the top 20 in race 2, but then working your way back up to P16 in race 3. You were deep in that field, and it looked pretty brutal from where I was sitting.
Yeah, I mean, I had some bad luck and some mental moments where I just stopped doing the right thing, but oh well, it's just honestly experience, and I still got to get a little bit more pace to keep with the front.
Yeah, indeed. We've got we've had a few seasons now with sports cars, but I believe this is the first time we're racing open wheelers in the Almeida Racing League, and well, I guess there's I mean, all cars drive the same, more or less, but the open wheelers, they do provide a few more subtleties to take note of and make use of. I guess the sheer amount of precision you need to wheel one around the circuit is one of those aspects. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I'm not exactly a good judge, because I literally started driving this car maybe 2 weeks ago, but I do agree with you on the precise part. There is a lot more precision needed to actually have a good race. I'm not sure if you were watching mine and Thomas's. There was moments where it almost went wrong, but because due to our precision, we didn't hit the wall or anything.
Yeah, indeed. The walls are close in some places at this track. I think some of them will be a bit further away comparatively at Oschersleben next week. That's the next round. Is that a track that you've driven before? And if so, do you have any thoughts on how the racing might go there?
Well, I believe the first time I ever drove was in the SRF back in season 6. So I honestly don't know, because some tracks are good for me, some are bad for me. It depends on how I practice. Hopefully I can get up to the front, the top one.
Absolutely. Well, we're certainly hoping to see you a bit further up next week, Nathan. Commiserations for the unfortunate result in race 1, but congratulations on your fight back up in races 2 and 3. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you so much. Adios.
Nathan Safarian, last driver to have a chat to us here today. And, well, Zippy, that's going to round things off for this.
We got more coming. More coming.
Oh, do we? Oh,
yes,
goodness. All right.
So we're going to have another driver making an appearance as well. And I have also asked somebody from the YouTube chat to make an appearance. Actually, here we go. Here's the driver, if you'd like to do the honors. Bas van der Lee makes his way here into the production booth.
Hello,
Bas.
you rang?
Yeah. Yes, indeed, we did, Bas. Great to see you in here once again, and you were right up there on pace with everyone in these F1600s. Apparently, they are a car that suits you pretty well, just like the SRF and MX-5 did.
Yeah. They share some similarities. Obviously, they respond to weight transfer well. They kind of get some oversteering if you don't watch out. Yeah, they suit me well. I've practiced a lot to get this level in, because these guys are just so fast. To keep up with them is really hard.
Yeah, 7th in race 1, 6th in race 2, and a front row start there as well. It just seemed like the pack pursuing those leaders, they had a bit of a tendency to get a bit involved with each other at the expense of being able to fight for that lead. Do you think that you'd have been able to join them up there if you'd gotten free of that squabbling?
Yeah, I think so. We were seeing Ian leaving us at the beginning of race 2, and Kyle even said over chat, "Don't fight." They still did, and that cost you. So, and even in the beginning of race 1, you can see the risk of incidents was really high between some of those guys. Even some touches that could have ended differently. Yeah, I think that some other choices could have been made, but then again, I'm not aggressive enough to keep up with in these kind of race situations.
Oh well. This is the exact sort of field where you can try and test that aggression. There'll be more braking zones at Oschersleben next week, so I'm sure you'll be able to send one up the inside every so often. Congratulations on your first 2 results here today, and hopefully that form continues next week.
I hope so too. It's fun racing with these guys, so let's see what we can do all season long.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Bas van der Lee there joining us. Zippy, I understand that Timothy Ing has just jumped in to the interview waiting booth. I understand you've caught up with him.
Well, Timothy, first time here we've had you in the interview booth, and what an absolutely astonishing entrance you've made here at the Almeida Racing Academy, indeed the Almeida Racing League, contending with some hot shots as well, able to get a good score of points in the bag. Tell us a little bit about how you're feeling here, making an appearance in Split 1.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. This is my first race in the ARA League, so feeling pretty good. I had some really good results that I was actually surprised about because I wasn't happy during practice, but turned out to be okay pace-wise. Made a few mistakes, but it was okay. Managed to recover a little bit. But otherwise, really happy with the racing in the league. It was just such a blast, whether I was fighting for P1 or P5. It was great.
Well, certainly myself, I'm not usually at the front of the pack, but for me, as you said, the battles are what makes the difference. But I've got to ask, how on earth did you catch up to Ian, join him? Like, you just closed him down, but like, what was your strategy there? Indeed, was it you think you had a little bit of an advantage? Like, tell us a little bit about how you managed to pull that off.
So I was definitely faster than him into the hairpin. And then once I got into his draft, I started staying with him. But unfortunately, couldn't find a way to pass him. But maybe someday. Maybe in a future race.
Well, certainly we are going to wish you the best of luck doing that. Ian Joyner, a former champion here at the Almeida Racing League. But Timothy, before we let you go, who do you think is going to be your #1 rival here at the Academy? Is there anybody in particular that you kind of put like a little star next to, a little hashtag perhaps, that you'd in particularly like to find yourself getting ahead of?
I think since Kevin shouted me out, I'll do the same thing. The racing with him in Heat 1 was a great time, and looking forward to battling the rest of the season.
Well, certainly absolutely fantastic stuff. And we've got Jake Enns there in the chat saying, Timothy Ing, you're a great addition to this series. So certainly we're looking forward to seeing more of you this season, indeed in future seasons as well. Timothy, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out for today's performance?
I think I got my buddy Andrew watching, so shout out to Andrew.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Andrew, and a shout out to Timothy Ing as well, driving from Malaysia, it appears to be. And fair play to you, you absolutely made it work today. But that is going to be all we've got time for interviews today, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolute treat of a first round it was.
Oh yeah, super great. Love Mosport, love F1600s, love the quality of this field. It just maintains that intense nature from season to season. Of course, cannot forget about the Almeida Racing Academy merch. Thanks to Livery, we do appreciate the showcase that we have here. Garments still on pre-order, and free shipping on orders over 100 USD, I believe you said, Zippy?
I believe so.
Excellent stuff. So make sure to pre-order your merch, and when it drops, you will get it. Some fantastic looking merchandise here as well. Love the caps, love the shirts, love the 3/4 zip. I could certainly do with one of those right now with how wet and gloomy it is in Western Australia at the moment. But we want to thank you all for tuning in on Pit Road Productions and the Almeida Racing Academy channel. It's a fantastic first round, and there is still more to come. We have 11 rounds of racing here in this season. 1 down, 10 more to go. What's Osher Sleben going to bring next week? We'll have to find out. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box and producing behind the scenes. We'll see you next time.
Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Suelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Suelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Wait a race, buddy. Wait a race.